The moment a young Mike Tyson met his greatest hero. Have you ever met the one person who completely changed your life? The person whose picture was on your wall. The person whose voice echoed in your mind. The person who inspired every dream you ever had. Now, imagine meeting that person face to face. Imagine being a scared teenager with nothing. No fame, no money, no championship belts. Just a dream. And then suddenly standing in front of your hero. For Mike Tyson, that moment wasn't just emotional. It changed boxing history forever. Because before Mike Tyson became the most feared heavyweight on earth, before millions knew his name, before the knockouts, before the championships, he was simply a troubled teenager from Brooklyn, a teenager searching for direction. And one meeting with Muhammad Ali would leave a mark on him for the rest of his life. But almost nobody knew how important that meeting truly was. To understand why, we have to go back to the beginning. Long before Mike Tyson became Iron Mike. Long before he terrified opponents. Long before he became heavyweight champion of the world. There was a young boy growing up in one of New York City's toughest neighborhoods. Brownsville, Brooklyn. Life there wasn't easy. Violence was common. Crime was everywhere. Opportunities were rare. For many young kids, survival itself felt like a victory. Mike Tyson grew up surrounded by hardship. The streets taught lessons nobody should have to learn. Fear, anger, loneliness, pain. These weren't occasional visitors in Tyson's childhood. They were constant companions. As a young boy, Tyson often felt lost. He struggled to fit in. He struggled to find confidence. He struggled to imagine a better future. But there was one thing that captured his attention. One thing that gave him hope. Boxing. And within boxing, there was one man who stood above everyone else. Muhammad Ali. Ali wasn't simply a champion. He was larger than life. He was confidence. He was courage. He was charisma. He was everything Tyson wished he could become. The young teenager watched Ali whenever possible. He listened to his interviews, studied his fights, memorized his words. While other kids had movie stars as heroes, Tyson had Muhammad Ali. The admiration ran deep, deeper than most people realized. Ali represented possibility, proof that greatness could come from difficult circumstances. Proof that confidence could overcome fear. Proof that a fighter could become a legend. Every time Tyson watched Ali, something happened inside him. A dream grew stronger. A belief began forming. Maybe one day he could become somebody too. But dreams are fragile, especially when life keeps knocking you down. As Tyson entered his teenage years, trouble followed him. The streets remained dangerous. Bad decisions became common. Authorities knew his name. Teachers struggled to reach him. Many people looked at the young Mike Tyson and saw another troubled kid heading toward disaster. Nobody saw a future heavyweight champion. Nobody saw history waiting to happen. And perhaps the saddest part was that Tyson himself wasn't sure either. Then something unexpected happened. A boxing trainer named Cus D'Amato entered his life, and everything began changing. Cus wasn't an ordinary trainer. He saw things other people missed. Potential, character, possibility. Where others saw a troubled teenager, Cus saw future greatness. Their relationship quickly became much more than boxing. Cus became a mentor, a teacher, a father figure, and most importantly, a believer. For the first time in years, Tyson felt someone truly believed in him. That belief changed everything. Training became serious. Discipline entered his life. Goals appeared. Dreams suddenly felt possible. And throughout this transformation, one name continued inspiring him. Muhammad Ali. Ali remained the standard, the hero, the example, the man Tyson hoped to emulate. Every young fighter needs inspiration. For Tyson, that inspiration wore boxing gloves and called himself the greatest. As Tyson improved inside the gym, stories about his talent began spreading. People whispered about his power, his speed, his aggression. Some trainers couldn't believe what they were seeing. A teenager displaying skills beyond his years. Yet Tyson remained a fan first. Whenever Muhammad Ali appeared on television, Tyson paid attention. Whenever Ali fought, Tyson watched. Whenever Ali spoke, Tyson listened. The admiration never faded. Then one day, an opportunity emerged. An opportunity that seemed almost impossible. An opportunity to meet Muhammad Ali himself. For most teenagers, meeting a hero is exciting. For Tyson, it felt unreal. The possibility alone made his heart race. What would he say? How would he act? Would Ali even notice him? Questions flooded his mind. The closer the day came, the more nervous he became. This wasn't just another meeting. This was Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer in history. The man who inspired millions. The man who inspired Mike Tyson. Finally, the moment arrived. Tyson was still just a teenager. Unknown, unproven, a kid with dreams. Nothing more. As he approached the location where Ali was present, emotions overwhelmed him. Excitement, fear, disbelief, hope, everything mixed together. Then, suddenly, he saw him. Not on television, not in a magazine, not in a newspaper. Right there, standing only a short distance away. Muhammad Ali. For a moment, Tyson froze. The hero, who had seemed larger than life, suddenly became real. The champion looked exactly as Tyson had imagined. Confident, charismatic, magnetic. People naturally gathered around him. Everyone wanted attention from Muhammad Ali. Everyone wanted a moment. Everyone wanted a memory. And Tyson stood there watching, trying to absorb the reality of what was happening. Then came the moment he would never forget. The moment that would stay with him forever. The moment a young Mike Tyson finally came face to face with Muhammad Ali. And what happened next would become one of the most emotional stories in boxing history. For a few seconds, Mike Tyson couldn't move. The noise around him seemed to disappear. The conversations faded. The crowd became a blur. All he could see was Muhammad Ali, the greatest fighter who had ever lived. The man whose fights he had watched over and over. The man whose confidence had inspired millions. The man who had unknowingly helped a troubled kid survive difficult years. And now that man was standing only a few feet away. Tyson's heart pounded harder than it ever had before a boxing match. This wasn't fear. At least not the kind of fear he felt in the streets. This was something different. This was awe. The feeling of standing in front of someone who had already changed your life without ever meeting you. Ali was surrounded by people. Reporters, fans, friends. Everyone wanted his attention. Everyone wanted a piece of Muhammad Ali. Yet somehow, despite the crowd, Ali seemed larger than everyone around him. His smile lit up the room. His voice carried naturally. People laughed when he joked. People listened when he spoke. He had a presence that couldn't be taught. A presence Tyson immediately noticed. Years later, Tyson would remember that feeling. Because even as a teenager, he understood something special was happening. This wasn't merely a famous athlete. This was Muhammad Ali. Eventually, Tyson moved closer, step by step, trying not to appear nervous, trying not to embarrass himself, trying to act confident. But inside, emotions were racing. What do you say to your hero? How do you introduce yourself? How do you explain what someone means to you when words suddenly feel too small? Then the moment happened. Muhammad Ali noticed him. It lasted only a second, but Tyson would remember it forever. Ali looked toward the young teenager. Their eyes met. And suddenly Tyson wasn't watching a legend from a distance anymore. The legend was looking directly at him. Ali smiled. A simple gesture. Yet for Tyson, it felt enormous. The tension instantly eased. Because Ali had a gift few famous people possess. He could make someone feel important. Even a teenager nobody knew. Even a kid with no championship belts. Even a young fighter, still searching for his place in the world. Ali had that ability, and Tyson felt it immediately. As introductions were made, Tyson tried to remain calm. But inside, excitement surged. Every word mattered. Every second mattered. Every detail would become a memory. Ali greeted him warmly, not like a superstar speaking to a fan, but like a champion speaking to a young fighter. The difference meant everything. Tyson listened carefully, watching every movement, every expression, trying to absorb every moment, because opportunities like this don't happen twice. As the conversation continued, Ali displayed the same charisma that had captivated the world, the same confidence, the same energy, the same magnetic personality. Tyson couldn't stop smiling. For years, Muhammad Ali had existed in photographs and television screens. Now he was real. Now he was talking directly to him. Now he was part of Tyson's story. What Tyson didn't realize at that moment was how much this encounter would influence his future. Because sometimes a few minutes can shape an entire life. Sometimes one meeting can become fuel for years of determination. And that was exactly what was happening. The young teenager standing beside Muhammad Ali wasn't just meeting his hero. He was receiving motivation he would carry forever. As the meeting continued, Tyson studied Ali closely, not just the boxer, the man. The confidence fascinated him. Ali carried himself differently. He seemed completely comfortable in any environment, completely certain of who he was. For a teenager still searching for identity, that confidence was powerful. Tyson wanted that feeling. He wanted that belief. He wanted that certainty. And seeing Ali in person made the dream feel real. Suddenly, greatness wasn't something that existed only on television. Greatness was standing right in front of him, breathing, smiling, talking. The experience left a deep impression, much deeper than anyone around them realized. Because Tyson wasn't simply collecting a memory, he was collecting inspiration. The kind of inspiration that survives difficult days, the kind that survives setbacks, the kind that survives doubt. Years later, when training became exhausting, when opponents seemed impossible, when pressure became overwhelming, the memory of Muhammad Ali would remain, and Tyson would keep moving forward. Meanwhile, Ali had no way of knowing what the future held. He couldn't see the championships waiting for Tyson. He couldn't see the knockouts. He couldn't see the fame. He couldn't see the records. To Ali, this was simply a young fan, a respectful teenager who loved boxing. But history often works that way. Life-changing moments rarely announce themselves. They happen quietly, ordinarily, without anyone realizing their significance until years later. As their interaction continued, Tyson absorbed every second. Every sentence felt important. Every smile became unforgettable. And before long, another moment arrived. A moment that would become legendary among boxing fans. The famous photograph. The image that would eventually travel around the world. The image showing a teenage Mike Tyson standing beside Muhammad Ali. At the time, it seemed like a simple picture. Just another photograph. Just another fan meeting his hero. Nothing extraordinary, or so it appeared. But history would transform that image into something much bigger. Because years later, people would look at that photograph and see something remarkable. 2 generations of heavyweight greatness. One nearing the end of his legendary journey. The other standing at the very beginning. A passing of inspiration. A connection between eras. A moment frozen forever. When the picture was taken, Tyson probably wasn't thinking about history. He was simply trying to enjoy the moment. Trying to remember every detail. Trying not to let the experience end. Because deep down he knew something important. Moments like this don't last forever. Eventually, the meeting would end. Eventually, everyone would go their separate ways. Eventually, life would continue. And that realization made every second more valuable. As the encounter drew closer to its conclusion, Tyson felt a mixture of emotions. Happiness, excitement, gratitude, and something else. Motivation. A powerful motivation. The kind that burns deep inside. The kind that changes behavior. the kind that transforms dreams into goals. Seeing Muhammad Ali in person made Tyson want greatness even more. Not fame, not money, greatness. There is a difference. Fame can be accidental. Money can come and go. Greatness requires sacrifice. Ali represented greatness, and Tyson wanted to follow that path. The teenager who arrived that day left with something priceless. Belief. Belief that extraordinary things were possible. Belief that hard work mattered. Belief that dreams could become reality. And, perhaps most importantly, belief in himself. Yet neither Tyson nor Ali could imagine what would happen over the next few years, because the young teenager standing beside the heavyweight legend was about to begin one of the most incredible rises in boxing history. A rise that would shock the world. A rise that would eventually place Tyson among the sport's biggest names. And when that rise finally happened, Muhammad Ali would once again become part of the story, because years later, their relationship would evolve in a way nobody expected. The hero would watch the student become a champion. The legend would witness the rise of the young boy who once stood beside him in awe, and the emotional connection between Ali and Tyson would become even stronger. But before that could happen, Mike Tyson still had a long journey ahead, a journey filled with sacrifice, pain, discipline, and unforgettable moments. The teenager who met Muhammad Ali was about to discover just how difficult the road to greatness could be, and what happened next would change boxing forever. The meeting with Muhammad Ali eventually came to an end. The crowd moved on. The cameras turned elsewhere. The conversations faded. To everyone around them, it was just another day. Just another fan meeting a celebrity. Just another photograph. Just another memory. But for Mike Tyson, it was much more. As he walked away, something had changed. The dream no longer felt impossible. The future no longer felt distant. For the first time, greatness seemed reachable, and that feeling stayed with him. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Months became years. Yet, Tyson never forgot that encounter. He never forgot standing beside Muhammad Ali. He never forgot the confidence, the charisma, the presence, the belief. Those memories became fuel. Fuel for the difficult road ahead, because the road was far from easy. While many future champions enjoy comfortable beginnings, Tyson's journey remained filled with challenges. Training became harder. Expectations increased. Pressure grew. But one man continued guiding him through it all. Cus D'Amato, the trainer who saw greatness before anyone else. The mentor who refused to let Tyson waste his talent. The father figure who believed in him when few others did. Every day inside the gym followed a strict routine. Early mornings, long workouts, endless repetitions, pain, sweat, sacrifice. Cus demanded excellence. Nothing less. The lessons extended beyond boxing. Cus taught discipline, responsibility, mental toughness. He taught Tyson how champions think, how champions behave, how champions survive. The transformation was remarkable. The troubled teenager from Brooklyn slowly began becoming something different, something stronger, something more focused, something dangerous. Word spread quickly through boxing circles. There was a young fighter coming up, a young fighter with unusual speed, unusual power, unusual aggression. Sparring partners talked about him. Trainers discussed him. Promoters became curious. Everyone seemed to be hearing the same thing. Mike Tyson was special, but fame still felt far away. There were no championship belts, no television appearances, no sold-out arenas. Only work, endless work. Meanwhile, Muhammad Ali remained one of the biggest names in sports. Even as his career entered its later stages, his influence remained enormous. People still followed his every move. Fans still admired him. Young fighters still idolized him, including Tyson. Then came another important chapter. Tyson began winning. Again and again and again. The victories piled up. Knockouts became common. Opponents struggled to survive. Some couldn't even last a round. The boxing world started paying attention. What began as whispers turned into headlines. The teenager who once stood nervously beside Muhammad Ali was becoming a force, a frightening force. Every fight seemed to end the same way: explosive attacks, relentless pressure, devastating knockouts. Crowds loved it, promoters loved it, television networks loved it, and Tyson's reputation grew with every victory. Soon people began asking a question: could this young fighter become heavyweight champion? The possibility seemed unbelievable, yet the evidence kept growing. Fight after fight, knockout after knockout, victory after victory. Then tragedy struck. The one person who had believed in Tyson from the beginning was gone. Cus D'Amato passed away. The loss devastated Tyson. The mentor, the teacher, the father figure, gone. Suddenly, the emotional pain was enormous. For a moment, everything felt uncertain. The man who had guided every step of his journey would never stand in his corner again, never offer advice again, never share another lesson. The grief was overwhelming. Many young fighters might have collapsed under that weight. Many might have lost direction. Many might have quit. Tyson did the opposite. He carried Cus with him. Every workout, every fight, every victory. The dream now meant even more, because it wasn't just his dream anymore. It was Cus' dream too, and Tyson became determined to finish what they started together. The years of sacrifice finally led to the biggest opportunity of his life, a chance to become heavyweight champion of the world. The same championship once held by Muhammad Ali, the same title every fighter dreams about, the same title that defines legends. The pressure was enormous. Millions watched, millions doubted, millions wondered if the young knockout artist was ready. Then the fight began, and history followed. Tyson exploded from his corner with terrifying intensity. The speed shocked people, the power shocked people, the aggression shocked people. Before long, the outcome became clear. Mike Tyson had done it. He became the youngest heavyweight champion in history. The teenager who once stood starstruck beside Muhammad Ali was now champion of the world. The dream had become reality. The moment was emotional, not just because of the title, because of everything it represented: the struggles, the sacrifices, the losses, the years of work. Everything had led here, and somewhere in that moment, Tyson thought about the people who helped shape his journey, including Muhammad Ali, the hero who inspired him, the champion who showed him what greatness looked like, the man he had admired long before fame arrived. As Tyson's career continued, opportunities to spend time with Ali increased. This time things were different, very different. Tyson was no longer an unknown teenager. He was a global superstar, a champion, a household name. Yet despite all his success, his respect for Muhammad Ali never changed. If anything, it grew stronger. Whenever Tyson spoke about Ali, admiration filled his voice. The same admiration that existed when he was a teenager. The same admiration that existed during that first meeting. The same admiration that would last forever. One of the most emotional moments came years later when Tyson and Ali shared public appearances together. Fans couldn't get enough of it. The sight of the two heavyweight icons side by side felt special. Ali represented one era. Tyson represented another. Together, they symbolized boxing greatness. Photographers rushed to capture every moment. Fans cheered loudly. The images quickly became iconic. Yet beneath the smiles existed something deeper: genuine respect. Tyson never viewed Ali as competition. He viewed him as inspiration, a hero, a mentor from afar, someone whose influence shaped his life. And Ali appreciated Tyson as well. He recognized the talent, the accomplishments, the impact. He understood how difficult it is to reach the top of the heavyweight division. Very few people ever experience that journey. Both men had. That shared understanding created a unique bond. As years passed, Tyson continued speaking about Ali whenever he had the opportunity. His words remained consistent: respect, admiration, gratitude, again and again, because Tyson understood something many people miss. Champions don't appear from nowhere. Every champion is inspired by someone. Every champion follows a path opened by those who came before. And for Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali was one of those people, perhaps the most important. Looking back now, the famous photograph feels different. What once appeared to be a simple meeting now carries much greater meaning. It captures more than two people standing together. It captures inspiration, hope, possibility, legacy, a young dreamer standing beside the man who inspired his dreams, a future champion standing beside a living legend, a moment that quietly connected two generations of boxing history. Neither person fully understood it at the time, but history did. History recognized the significance, because sometimes the most important moments aren't championship fights. Sometimes they aren't knockouts. Sometimes they aren't victories. Sometimes they're simple encounters, a conversation, a handshake, a photograph, a meeting between a teenager and his hero. Years later, millions would know Mike Tyson's name. Millions would watch his fights. Millions would witness his rise. But before all of that happened, before the fame, before the championships, before the records, before the fortune, there was simply a young boy from Brooklyn standing face to face with Muhammad Ali. And in that moment, the future quietly changed. One legend was nearing the final chapters of his career. Another legend was just beginning. The student met the master. The dreamer met the inspiration. And boxing history gained one of its most touching stories. Because long before Mike Tyson became Iron Mike, he was simply a teenager meeting his hero. And sometimes, those moments become the beginning of everything.